After about 8 years of being CEO of Cedar Fair and now Six Flags, Richard Zimmerman announced that he's going to be stepping down from this position. In this video, we're going to go over everything that we feel about this stepping down and what it could possibly mean for the future of this chain. How's it going, everybody? We are Beach Cliff Studios. Thank you if you're new to this channel, and also thank you if you're returning. But if you're new and you're not a subscriber, please go down, subscribe, hit that like button because you already know you're going to like the video. Comment, do all those things that help out YouTube channels a ton. So now that we got that out of the way, let's get into this video. It is Wednesday, August 6th, and Six Flags was doing their Q2 earnings call today. And before that happened, bright and early in the morning, it was like before 7 a.m. It was probably like 6 a.m. or something. The news started to come out that Richard Zimmerman was no longer going to be CEO. He's only going to be not standing in. He's staying into his position until they can find someone new, they assume probably around the turn of the year. First thing that came to mind whenever a CEO is stepping down, unless there's someone that's just like extremely old or maybe has been in that position for like decades and they're actually ready to step down. First thing that I always think is that they actually got fired. Because whenever you have these big high-end positions, they're always given the opportunity to just quit or retire or whatever instead of actually coming out and saying that we're being fired. It's a way to save face. So we don't have any actual information that this is for sure what happened, obviously.
Yeah.
It's just an assumption. So I'm going to kind of like go over some things of why he might have been fired, some things that may have went wrong over the Six Flags chain in the past, just over a year since the merger took over.
Because a lot has gone wrong and a lot has been pretty bad.
And we're going to go over what we feel could be the future of this chain. But first and foremost, getting into the earnings call, it wasn't the best of news. So you could definitely see why the park may not, like the board of directors, may not be thinking that this chain is heading in the right direction. In the second quarter, attendance is down. During the earnings call, Richard Zimmerman brought up weather, I don't know, a dozen times. I listened to not quite all of it, but I listened to a lot of the earnings call. And I heard them blaming weather for the drop in attendance a bunch of times.
Because what was it, last year that they had a bunch of smoke in Canada and it all like blew into the area where like Cedar Point is, for example, and they would always blame the smoke as an excuse.
It's always the weather.
Yeah, so it seems like every year there's like some excuse with the weather.
There's a downturn. Or was that even 2 years ago or something with the fires?
I don't remember.
But whichever one it was, a couple years ago, I think I remember the blaming of the forest fires from Canada. I think there were some hurricanes that were causing weather. This year, it was a lot of rain and extreme heat. But, I will say that the parks definitely will have seen a downturn just based on us alone. Not saying that we're affecting the numbers personally. But we haven't gone to Cedar Point in a time. We've been pretty busy with some other stuff, but the weather, the extreme heat has been keeping us away from the park.
Yeah. It's a mix of, like you said, been doing other stuff, but also there's been a lot of days where it's just really, really hot and we're like not motivated to go to Cedar Point. So, if we're feeling like that, then there's probably going to be other people that are in a similar situation and they live by one of these parks. And there's been a lot of heat waves in the U.S. this year across everywhere in the country, not just this area that we live in, which is Ohio. So there's probably a lot of people that are not going to their home park as much because there has been some bad weather.
Yeah, so, it's definitely a legitimate thing to bring up.
For sure.
But I think also you have to talk about reduced staffing at parks. So operations and food service hasn't been what it used to be. You have to look at Six Flags Great Adventure, which kind of tore down a couple small little rides last year.
Yeah, a lot of people are pretty mad at Great Adventure because obviously what they did and they tore down those small little rides. So, I think the service is going down in a lot of these parks and it's affecting people's willingness to go because there's been a lot of closed rides, a lot of permanently closed rides, and, like you said, just a very understaffed, and understaffed leads to a lot of things close, and that's a worse experience, and it probably deters some people from really wanting to go to the park as much as they might normally do.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you go to the park and you have an extremely bad experience, then you're going to be less likely to hurry back the next week or whatever. And then just bringing up Great Adventure, like this park is probably in the most populated region in the United States. Not probably, it is. It's right in between New York City and Philadelphia. Probably about like an hour away from both. That park should be pulling in amazing numbers, yet everything that I hear, the park is just like no one's coming because...
Yeah, it's going down. And people are mad because, like I said earlier, they're closing down fan favorite rides. And you can't do.
And not only that they're closing it, but how they're closing it. No announcements or anything.
No announcements. No anything. King Ka, the world's tallest coaster, the world's second fastest coaster, just out of the blue, just closed pretty much. There was no ceremony. There was no announcement before, and people don't like that. People don't like huge rides that are fan favorites to just be closed out of the blue. And like I said before, that's going to affect people's feeling towards that park.
So our whole point in talking about this is that the fact that it's not just weather. The weather might be deterring.
The weather plays a
some
part.
People, yeah.
But it is not the sole purpose of why these parks are doing worse. You cannot just say, the weather's bad. No, you did a lot of negative stuff to these parks, and it's affecting people's willingness to go.
And not to mention, he's done a lot of cost cutting, and that's really what it all boils down to.
A lot of
cost cutting, because the combined debt between the two parks was I think $4 billion. And I think that Richard Zimmerman felt like his main goal would be to bring down that debt as much as possible. And that is done in the way of cutting staffing, paying employees, cutting out problematic rides that cost a lot to operate and fix and keep open and that. So I think that he felt like he was doing the right thing for the company.
And maybe he was, but...
Yeah, but overlooking us and you guys and everyone else that goes to these parks.
And you need to have a mix of doing what's best for the company and doing what's best for the people that go there, because the people that go to these parks are the reasons that they're in business, because if nobody went, they wouldn't make any money. Yeah, exactly. That's what it boils down to. Now, keep in mind that all of this that we're saying is kind of going by the assumption that he was asked to step down. Definitely leave a comment down below. Do you guys agree with that? Or do you think that he just kind of felt like it was his time to move on or whatever? Mm-hmm. Which could be possible, obviously, but it just seems unlikely. Yeah. And it just seems very weird that would happen.
Yeah, so we're kind of going by the assumption and giving reasons why we think that he might have been asked to step down because, the second quarter of 2025, they saw a drop in attendance by 8%, which was 1.4 million people across the chain compared to quarter two of last year. And the chain saw about a 125 million loss in the quarter. So there were lots of things not looking in the direction that that the Six Flags board would want the chain to go to. So they're moving on from him one way or the other. And now we don't know if they're going to hire from within the chain. A lot of people are bringing up the guy from Fiesta, Texas, the park president
I
from
can't
Fiesta,
remember
Texas.
His name,
Jeffrey Siebert or something.
Everyone likes him because he is a good park president. Who knows if he wants to or is capable of being the CEO of a big company. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't know. He does do a great job at Fiesta, Texas. So
People like
who
him.
knows?
People like him, and he likes the guests, and he does a lot for.
Yeah, Fiesta Texas is a great park, and he has a big part in why it is such a good park.
And maybe he would be more of a Richard Kinzel type of CEO, like.
Which everybody wants another Richard Kinzel.
But anyway, we brought up a park president that a lot of enthusiasts want to be promoted up to CEO. But that's another thing that we could talk about that Zimmerman did, is I think he got rid of, like 27 or so park presidents across the chain, which keep in mind that the park presidents at each park, they're the ones that are local and live in the community, and
they give the park, like they help the park with that less corporate feel, because they're, like you said, people that live in the area and are regional, and they care for the park.
Yeah, and they have their finger on the community and know what each individual place.
Yeah, they're an expert at their own park.
Yeah, they want their wants and needs and stuff in their own community. So getting rid of the park presidents, I think that kind of takes away from
for sure.
From each park having that feel that each community that the park resides in, just takes away a little bit of that. All in all, I would say that Zimmerman didn't do the greatest job, so him being fired would not shock me, and that's another reason why I'm kind of going by the assumption.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really thought, at least, a lot of coaster enthusiasts, I don't think anyone really liked him that much, so, it's not super surprising if that was the case.
So now, getting into more of what this could mean for the future of the chain, if, in fact, the board did not like everything that he was doing, then that might mean that they might hire a more, I don't want to say enthusiast-friendly, because they're definitely not catering just to enthusiasts, and they can't, because that's not going to...
Well, no.
Bring in guests and win over a bunch of guests and families and stuff. They have to do a little bit for everybody.
Well, yeah, but somebody that cares more about the parks, essentially, that cares more about, cares less about really only wanting to save money, and they care about the actual experience at the parks.
Exactly, because if all you care about is the money and financial side...
Which you have to care about that, obviously, but...
But caring about the parks, I think, in turn, brings about the financial gains later down the road. So I think that if they end up hiring someone that does start making more guest-friendly moves, then I think that's a telltale sign that Richard Zimmerman was indeed let go of his position. I mean, it brings a little bit of turmoil to the park at the moment. I mean, I know that Richard Zimmerman isn't just leaving, so they're not going to be without a CEO. They're going to be having someone making the decisions over the next couple months until they find someone new. But I think who they hire next is going to be a big tell on what they were thinking. So I could definitely see this could be a really good thing. I guess that's what I'm getting at. This could be a really good thing for these parks. I think we could start to see some hours start to go up, some hours that were cut from some parks. I think we could start to see that. I think maybe we could start to see staffing go up, maybe pay
workers better.
Pay the workers better, because so many people don't want to work the jobs that you have to work at the hours that you have to work.
For as little money as they are making.
Yeah, so maybe another CEO might be like, okay, you know what? Let's bring in a happy ride operator instead of a ride operator that's been working for 10 hours straight. That's miserable at that moment.
Yeah, and is not making much money. But yeah, I mean, everything that they've done with the merger has been pretty negative. Really nobody's liked it. So maybe this is a chance to have somebody new that changes what they're trying to do. Maybe they do the same thing as Richard Zimmerman and he is actually just stepping down for whatever reason, or hopefully they get somebody that's better and we can actually see the park quality at all these parks go up, because everybody wants that.
Yeah, and I don't think Richard Zimmerman in the investors report or investor meeting that they had not too long ago. We did a video all about it. He did like say some good things. He said that he wanted to heavily invest in some parks that were in like major metropolitan areas around the country.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So he was doing some good stuff. So if they can continue on with some of that and just take that and then add in a little bit more of the guest-friendly stuff. I think if you do that, then we can ultimately see the Six Flags chain end up prospering. But one thing that I do believe is going to happen no matter who the CEO is that they have to get rid of more Six Flags parks.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just going to happen.
And legacy Six Flags parks at that. I know that they have kind of talked about this and pushed that this is what they want, starting with Six Flags America closing. But everything in the report from their second quarter report, everything is legacy Six Flags parks are down here and legacy Cedar Fair parks are up here. Legacy Cedar Fair parks are bringing in 58% of the revenue across the chain. They're bringing in probably a similar number or even a little bit higher of the attendance across the chain. There's lots of stuff that I believe that they would have actually made a profit because they lost over $100 million in quarter two if it wasn't for Six Flags parks. So Six Flags parks are, and I'm speaking of legacy parks, I think are bringing them down. So you're getting rid of America. I think, like, I know a lot of you that might have been your home park or whatever, but probably necessary. Darien Lake, Frontier City, a couple others. I mean, of course, your Magic Mountain is safe. Fiesta Texas, over Texas.
Yeah, Great America,
America.
Yeah, like the big parks are going to be safe, obviously, but
I mean, you got to start questioning.
There's going to be some parks.
Great Escape. You have to start questioning that. The smaller parks that aren't bringing in money.
Yeah, there's going to be some parks that are going to be that are holding them back, and it is unfortunately the right business move to get rid of those parks. Hopefully sell them so then they stay operating. I don't know if that's going to be the case for a lot of them. It's not for Six Flags America. But, they're going to have to get rid of some parks.
Yeah, so there's just so much, about the earnings call and just there's so much. I mean, that deserves its own video by itself. This video we're really trying to keep mostly just about Richard Zimmerman stepping down and exactly how that will affect everything. But I think we've just about covered everything that we could talk about, possibly in the future and why we think that this happened. Anything else that you feel like you could add? Well, so that is it. Getting out this late breaking news that just came out this morning. So thank you for coming and joining us. And of course, shout out to all our channel members, all these people on the screen right here. They joined one of two tiers and they get things like shout outs, exclusive videos, exclusive pictures. We started doing a members only live stream. We've only done one, but we're going to do more in the future. So if that's something that you are interested in, want to get more content and help us out beyond just subscribing or anything like that, we would greatly appreciate it. And so that is it for this video. Bye-bye, Richard Zimmerman. And bye-bye, Beach Cliff Studios for now. But we are not being fired, so we'll be back. So we'll see you guys next time right here on
Beach Cliff Studios.
See ya.